I know us UFC fans, we've come accustomed to watching these mediocre cards that the UFC's thrown at us these last couple years. And to start off the Paramount era, we got two pay-per-views back to back, and they were somewhat decent, and we cannot complain too much about it. But they just dropped UFC Fight Night London, the entire card, and I do have to say, brother, this card is trash. This card is garbage. The only fights that I really care about, we're gonna get through this entire card, but the only fight that we truly are gonna care about is Evloev versus Murphy, because the winner probably in emphasis, because Dana White hates both of these guys, is gonna get a title shot against Alexander Volkanovski. But the entire card, the order of the card, most importantly, some of these, first of all, I'm a huge Nathaniel Woods fan, and the fact that they gave him Losneti Quieto, whatever his name is, the guy who was supposed to fight Patricio Pitbull and missed weight, and begged him to still fight him. Why is he fighting Nathaniel Woods, who should be fighting somebody ranked? Like, what are we doing, UFC? What are we actually doing? But not only that, Antonio Tricoli's still fighting in the UFC somehow. Why is Antonio Tricoli fighting in the UFC? Like, what are we doing? This card is just not that good, man. It is not, like, Michael Venom Page. What are we doing with Michael Venom Page, UFC? Dana White. It's like Michael Venom Page is winning all these fights in two divisions, middleweight and welterweight. He wants to fight in welterweight. He wanted to fight a ranked opponent. There was like a podcast that he went on that he literally told the UFC, "Oh, I wanted to fight Carlos Prates after he knocked out Jeff Neal." He said it in the podcast, and the UFC said, "Nah, we have different plans for him." Like, what are we doing with Michael Venom Page fighting Sam Patterson? Now, I'm not shitting on Sam Patterson because he's a really good fighter. He's pretty decent. But Michael Venom Page is ranked 14th in the middleweight division. You could have matched him up with Roman Dolidze? Like, what are we doing here, bro? Let's start from top to bottom. I want to start from top to bottom before I criticize the entire card of this mediocrity, of this trash. Evloev versus Murphy, this is beautiful. We've been waiting for this. I'm not shitting on this card. I've been waiting for this fight. This main event right here, I've been waiting for this one. I wanted to see this fight since last year, but they gave the title shot to Diego Lopez again. Hopefully the winner of this fights Alexander Volkanovski, because if not, I might lose my shit. Like, what are we doing at featherweight now? We've given Diego Lopez like back-to-back title fights, and I'm a Diego Lopez glazer, bro. I love Diego Lopez, and I still think he should have not gotten that second title shot. But the UFC's so desperate to have a Mexican champ for some reason. I still don't even know why. But still, Evloev versus Murphy, amazing fight. Luke Riley is the co-main event, and he's only had one fight at the UFC. One fight in the UFC. And I'm not hating on Luke Riley because I actually like Luke Riley. I just think since he's Patty's boy, they're gonna give him a little bit of Dana White privilege and say, you know what, you could be the co-main event of this card. But dude, against Michael Aswell, dude, what are we doing? This fight should have at least be like the featured fight in the prelims, or at least the featured fight of the prelims, dude. Or maybe like the opener of the main card of this card. Because Michael Aswell, he's literally the training partner of Joshua Van, and I think he has 2 fights in the UFC, and he's lost both of them, if I'm correct. But this fight should not be in the co-main event. Should not be in the co-main event. Roman Dolidze versus Christopher Leroy Duncan. I'm not even hating on this fight. I want CLD to knock out Roman Dolidze. I don't really like Roman Dolidze like that. If you know, you know. JP Bays, we love you, big dog. But I want COD to knock this guy out. But if we're gonna have this on the main card and have Michael Venom Page fight Sam Patterson at welterweight, like, what are we doing? We'll get to Michael Venom Page, but still, I'm not mad about this fight. I wish CLD would have fought somebody else in the middleweight division instead of Roman Dolidze, but yeah, that's where we are. That's where we are. Igor Baranowski versus Austin Lane. I guess you could throw this on the main card. Could have thrown this in the prelims. Iwo Baranowski's just gonna knock out Austin Lane. That's what the UFC wants. Just build Iwo Baranowski's like name up. Then we get to this fight right here. Curtis Campbell versus Danny Silva is in the main card. Now, if you guys haven't noticed, I'm American. I know who Danny Silva is because he has like a couple fights in the UFC already. But Curtis Campbell, I didn't know who this guy was until I saw like Bedtime MMA's video about this card, and basically this is a top prospect in London right now, in England, and he had a Contender Series fight. He won, he got his contract, and he's fighting on the main card. He's the Pink Panther. He's Binky. I'm literally just like, I've been getting somewhat of like information about this guy through MMA Guru and Bedtime MMA, but I'm an American. I don't know who this guy is, but he's on the main card. Now, I don't know if he's boys with Patty. I'm pretty sure he's not, because if not, we would have heard of him by now, like Luke Riley. But he's fighting on the main card. And us American viewers, unless we're like locked in with MMA Guru and Bedtime MMA, like, we don't even know who this guy is. He's making his UFC debut on the main card of UFC Fight Night London. Now, if he doesn't go out there and knocks out Danny Silva, it's gonna look like why was this guy on the main card? But I'm gonna let it slide. Like I'm gonna let it slide until the fight happens. But the fact that this guy is making his UFC debut on the main card of UFC Fight Night London, I know that our English viewers out here are gonna know who he is, but us American viewers, I guess 80% to 75% of us are not gonna know who this guy is. But whatever. We get to Michael Venom Page versus Sam Patterson. What are we doing? What are we doing? We couldn't find anyone better for Michael Venom Page. Like, I feel like the UFC signed this guy and thought he wasn't going to do good in the promotion like all the other Bellator guys, but he's literally been the only Bellator guy in recent memory to go out here and make a name for himself in the UFC and go out here and put on a show. And now it's like the UFC doesn't even know what to do with him. He's fighting in middleweight. He wants to fight it at welterweight too. He literally beat Jared Cannonier, and they couldn't find somebody to match him up in middleweight. And then he wants to fight, and they give him Sam Patterson at welterweight because he wants to fight at welterweight. Venom Page said it in a podcast that he wants to fight at welterweight. Like, I don't know what we're doing with Michael Venom Page. Like, this guy should be already in the top 10 in the middleweight division, if not the welterweight division. Like, what are we doing? We don't have that much time with Venom Page, man. And he's a showman, and people love to watch this guy fight. I'm gonna be excited for this fight because it's MVP, but dude, I just feel like the UFC they don't know what to do with Michael Venom Page. They're just like, oh yeah, you can fight this guy and you can fight this guy, but like, we want to see him make a rise to the top of the rankings, bro. Whatever. I'm not shitting on Sam Patterson, but still, like, what are we doing? We get a little bit lower to the card. We have Mason Jones. Mason Jones made his comeback into the UFC last year. He's fighting Axel Solas, who I think had already a fight in the UFC. But whatever. This fight, that's cool. It's cool. I like Mason Jones. He's on the prelims. That's fine. We're not going to care about Chanel Dreyer. I don't give a damn about these girls. Not a damn. I think, I remember this girl, Chanel Dyer now. She was on the Contender Series with another chick, lost, but they still gave her a contract because the fight was badass. She's making her UFC debut. Whatever. We get to this one. Nathaniel Wood versus Lonesi Kieta. Why are we disrespecting my boy Nathaniel Woods like that? I am a huge Nathaniel Woods fan. And why is he going up against a guy who tried making his UFC debut last year? I think it was against short notice against Patricio Pitbull. And he missed weight. And he went backstage to beg Patricio Pitbull to take this fight. And Pitbull said no, which, understandable. But why does Nathaniel Woods have to fight this guy? Nathaniel Woods, come on, man. Give him somebody close to the rankings at featherweight. Or at least a name. Like, why are we disrespecting my boy like that? Against the guy who's making his UFC debut. Who was supposed to fight Patricio Pitbull. Who is not even I think he's in the rankings now, but before he kind of, he was in the rankings. The UFC are trying to make Patricio Pitbull relevant. But what are we doing, bro? What are we doing? What are we actually doing with Nathaniel Woods fighting this guy? It kind of low-key pissed me off, the fact that they have Nathaniel Woods fighting this guy and not somebody close to the rankings or a name. Please, bro. Whatever. I'm gonna keep it going because I'm gonna get pissed. Then we have Louis Sutherland versus Brando Patrici. It's the heavyweight division, dog. It's whatever. Louis Sutherland, I think he had a fight already, and I think he lost. I don't even remember. It's heavyweight, dude. And if it's not Josh Hokett, if it's not Waldo Cortez Acosta, if it's not I forgot what's Buddy's name. I can't believe I forgot his name. The flabby titties. You know who I'm talking about. I forgot his name, but I love that guy. He needs to be active in the heavyweight division. He's the Max Holloway of the heavyweight division. I forgot Steve Asplin. There we go. I forgot his name, but I remember Steve Asplin. If it's not Steve Asplin, Waldo Cortez Acosta, Josh Hokett, Walter Walker, I'm really not gonna care because those guys have already made a name for themselves in heavyweight and they're fun to watch. This fight could be good. I don't want to trash this fight so much, but I just don't care about heavyweight unless it's not those guys right now. Why the hell is Antonio Tocoli in the UFC still? This is literally the punching bag of the UFC in the middleweight division. The UFC are just, you need a win? Antonio Tocoli. He's right there, dude. I don't get why this man is still in the UFC. Why? He is so ass. He's buns. He's sandy cheeks. And he's going up against a guy who's probably making his UFC debut that I don't even know. I don't know this guy. I'm sorry. I don't know this guy like that. Whatever. I actually like this fight right here. And I actually am a Mario Pinto fan right here. I've already made a video saying that I think he's going to break out this year. And it's going to start with Mick Parkins. I got Mario Pinto winning this fight for sure. I think this fight should be on the main card. I don't know why it's so low on the prelims, dude. I think Mario Pinto is going to go out here and knock out Mick Parkins, dude. Mario Pinto, I rate this guy, dude. I said Mario Pinto's going to have a breakout year in 2026, and it starts now. And I think he should have been on the main card because his post interviews are fun to watch. His last one was amazing to watch. But come on. We have Shamrock, Patty's boy. He's fighting Al Sawadi. I think Al Sawadi, does he have a couple fights in the UFC? He has one loss in the UFC. I guess this is a fight for Shamrock to get something going. His UFC debut, they gave him Nurullo Aliev. What are we doing, bro? We gave him Khabib's doppelganger. And that guy's a stud prospect. I don't know why we're giving Nurullo Aliev, a guy making his UFC debut, but whatever. And then we have Melissa Mullins, who I rate. Marissa, she's not bad. Melissa Mullins, she has a couple good wins, I guess. Decent wins in the women's division. But it's against Luana Carolina. Interesting fight right here. I think Lorena Carolina might take it. I don't know. But it doesn't matter. This card is just not that good. It's really not that good. And I think where they have these fights, like, what are we doing? Like, if you want to put Luke Riley in the main card, at least put him as the opener. Have Michael Venom Page fight somebody else or Sam Patterson. Brother, this fight right here should not be. This fight right here, Curtis Campbell versus Danny Silva should not be on the main card. It should be Mick Parkins versus Mario Pinto. But I guess since Luke Riley is Paddy Pimblett's boy, and he has a little bit more of a name than some of those guys, they throw him on the co-main event. I just feel like this card is just gonna be bad. Like, unless there's a couple good knockouts, but if there's like decision after decision after decision, and then we get to the main card and it's just Venom Page gets a decision win against Sam Patterson, Campbell versus Silva, maybe one of them gets knocked out, but if it goes to the decision and Campbell doesn't look as good, this is a knockout regardless. And then you get Luke Riley, who I don't know if he's gonna go out there and starch Michael Aswell, but if he kind of doesn't, and if it's a boring fight, I don't know, bro. Like, this card is just, it doesn't speak to me. They try my boy Nathaniel Woods pretty bad. Why is Antonio Tricoli still in the UFC? Like, I don't know. I just don't like this card that much, man. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section about UFC Fight Night London. I just feel like the UFC, they threw this together to just bring the, the London crowd and just be like, oh, we got some of your favorite guys out here. Come support them. I don't know what we're doing, dog. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section. I'm J-Naps MMA. Like and subscribe, and I'm out.